Thank you for coming tonight. The regular board meeting of 18 January 2024 is now in session. Will you please stand for a moment of silence to be followed by our pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we get started, let's take a moment to thank Ms. Jess Hathaway again for our live stream. We have Ashton Batis and Sydney Parker running our camera, so thank you all for coming tonight.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, girls. An executive session was held on January 17, 2023 from 6:30 to 6:36 p.m. and 6:46 p.m. to 7:08 p.m. for personnel and legal matters. A second executive session was held this evening, January 18, from 6 o'clock to 6:54 for student matters. Roll call, please.
Mr. Bumpkin? Dr. Kraus?
Here.
Mrs. Sproul? Here. Mr. Mack?
Here.
Mr. Menhart?
Here.
Mr. Pratt?
Here.
Mrs. Shoup? Here. Mr. Zipper?
Here.
All members present.
Thank you. Approval of minutes of organizational and regular board meetings held 7 December 2023. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make a motion.
Second? Second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the motion passed. Unfinished business? Additions to the agenda?
Just a motion to approve.
Okay. Motion to approve the agenda is presented.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Remarks from visitors? Yes, ma'am.
Good evening. My name is Diane Smith and I live at 116 Oak Street here in Carmichaels. I had 2 children graduate from here. With everything going on in this world that we live in, I think that we can all agree one of the most important things that we can do is to keep our kids safe. I don't have social media, however, I can see it on one of my kids' accounts, and on the Neighborhood Crime Watch page, there are so many young kids going missing. They are from our neighboring counties. Most of them are found, but tragically, some are not. That brings me to the why I'm speaking here to all of you tonight. There's a nonprofit group called Living in Liberty. They will come to the school and speak to the middle and high school students about human trafficking at no charge to the district. I'm not sure if the district has had anything like this before in the past. Since almost every kid has a cell phone and some form of social media, it is so easy to be lured in this unhealthy, dangerous, and even lethal environment. I think this is a topic for conversation that could take place every year, like the decision about drinking and driving before the prom event. I have a brochure that I would like to give to the middle school, high school principal, the superintendent, and even the president of our school board for you guys to take a look at. And if you're interested, the contact information is at the bottom. It's just something that was brought to my attention by somebody in the neighborhood that felt very passionate about it, and I felt very passionate about it as well, because again, I had 2 kids go through the school district, and I just see the things that are taking place in the communities and in the neighboring communities, and I think that it's important if you guys could maybe have some sort of an assembly that, you know, it would be beneficial to the kids here. So thank you.
Thank you. We really appreciate your concern.
You're welcome. Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you. Any other remarks from visitors? Okay, thank you. Student representatives. Mrs. Menhart.
I think Mr. Fullen's going to introduce
Okay,
them.
Thank you, Mr.
I'm
President.
sorry.
We do have 2 students in the middle school. We have 6th grader Lila Hurdig and 7th grade Jennifer Hunter, who competed in a statewide stock market competition in 2 of our classes. Mr. Gillis does the elementary 3rd through 6th grade. Ms. Menhard does the middle school, which is 7th to 8th grade. We did have 2 representatives win that competition, and I wanted to recognize them in front of the board. These are 2 very bright, very eccentric young ladies who do a great job in the school, and I would definitely like to recognize them for their accomplishments. So I would like to bring them up if they're okay and talk about what you guys did just real briefly, and Ms. Menhard is here to kind of navigate them through that. So, girls, you want to come up?
Lila, you want to go first?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Lila Hertig, and I'm currently in 6th grade. Recently, I participated in the Stock Market Challenge. In this challenge, students are able to choose brands and buy stocks from that company. This took place during history. This was a very interesting challenge because it was teaching us about investing. We started it around Christmas. Going into this, I chose a company that was very popular. I knew that this brand would increase in value because the holidays were coming up. When I bought the stock, it was low, but I knew with Christmas right around the corner, the stock would rise in value. At the end of the challenge, I placed first in the state of Pennsylvania. I enjoyed this challenge, and I'm looking forward to participate in it again. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Jennifer. I placed 3rd place in the middle school division and started with $100,000 and ended with a portfolio value of $145,400, which is a 45% return on my investment. My top companies invested in are Dick's, Lululemon, and Nike. And I just want to thank all of you for putting this opportunity in the school, and thank you.
Mr. President, I just wanted to add that this competition was held with about 5,000 other students throughout the state, so we did have some notable placing. And thank you, girls. I know that's tough. You guys did a great job. Thank you to the parents, Ms. Benhart, Mr. Gillis. You guys always are awesome, so thank you.
Congratulations,
Yeah.
girls.
Yeah.
We're proud of you.
They won gift cards. They each won an Amazon gift card. Lila won $100, and Jennifer got a $30 Amazon gift card, so.
Now you're going to have to invest in Amazon.
Right.
Well, ladies, we're going to proceed with our meeting. You're welcome to stay, and if you're, or you're, you know, you can leave. Okay, administrative reports. Mr. Moorcraft?
Yep, thank you, Ms. Menhard. January is School Board Recognition Month, and Carmichaels Area School District will join Pennsylvania School Boards Association and other districts across the Commonwealth to honor the countless contributions of these locally elected advocates for Pennsylvania school children in public schools. School board members tackle a difficult job and shoulder enormous responsibilities. These men and women are elected to establish the policies that provide the framework for our public schools. They provide vision and leadership in their roles as advocates, and they continue to stand up for public education. Our district benefits from the tireless work and the countless hours contributed by these local citizens who work without pay. Our board members serve as a crucial link between the community and the classrooms. The role of our school board is the utmost importance to ensure that today's students are prepared to be productive citizens and the leaders of tomorrow. The job they do is necessary to ensure schools remain a pathway to a promising future. On behalf of the entire district, I thank you all for advocating on behalf of our collective interests, and more importantly, for making the success of our children their priority. So I do have some certificates for you as well. I'm going to pass out. Thank you so much. Mr. Shute.
Thank you, sir.
Ms. Buckland. Sir. Mrs. Buckland. Thank you. That's a great place to be. Good. Thank you, just for a bit. Mr. Sir. Can we give them all a round of applause, please? Mr. Member, that concludes my report.
Thank you, sir. Elementary principal report. Mr. Barry?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Menhart. Two things I want to talk about today. And about this time every year I like to bring this up. We are happy to announce our 5th grade students for the 3rd year now are going to continue to work with a local artist actually from the Pittsburgh area to create our 5th grade visual art project. And we've participated in this opportunity for the past 3 years. I also wanted to make note that we did add a partnership, and Ms. Alexander is here today, on behalf of Domestic Violence Services of Southwest PA, who are also working on this. This year, and we focused on a number of different things in the past, but this year our focus is centered on our 7 Mindsets social emotional learning program. And with that, and drawing upon those different mindsets, we're going to begin work this month, probably through March, April, depending on what the weather looks like and how that goes. And we're going to create a giant tree sculpture, which is going to adorn our elementary entranceway. So students will be working to sketch and build models of the tree. They're going to be building the pieces that are needed for the actual tree itself. And they're going to be creating some visual examples of each of the mindsets correlating to the parts of the tree. So it's in its infancy stages, but when we look at it on scope and scale, it's going to be the biggest art project that we have done through 5th grade. So I really just wanted to say, you know, I think it's going to be wonderful, and I want to welcome you all to be part of the grand unveiling, but we have to figure out when that's going to be, and that's kind of time dependent on. So I'll keep you with more updates on that. Second thing that I'd like to talk about and discuss is our finalists that we had for Pennsylvania Teacher of the Year from our elementary center, Ms. Brittany Bell, and I wanted to talk a little bit about the process. So basically what happens is every year, Pennsylvania Department of Education goes through a process of people being nominated, and they whittle it down to 12 finalists out of, and I looked at the number, this was my last number that I saw, 108,756 Pennsylvania educators. And basically how this process goes, it's a little bit more than a year-long process. And within this process, this individual is nominated. They start in going through a number of different steps in the nomination process. They have to send in letters of recommendation from a bunch of different individuals. A lot of times too, just not colleagues, but like parents, kids, all of those different type of things. They actually have to put on and present a 30-minute lesson and have it videoed, and they have to send that in as well. And then they do about a half an hour full-on interview with the Department of Education. And then there's a number of different chairs and committees that they have to sit in and meetings that they have to do. The interesting thing is once you go through, they originally start and narrow it down to about 300 individuals, and it goes from 300 to 12. And this all culminates at a recognition ceremony and Teacher of the Year announcement, which this year was held in Hershey. Like I said, Ms. Bell was actually nominated and became one of the 12 finalists. So I just like to take a moment to recognize her for this award, but also to recognize all the other individuals who helped her along the way, including teachers, the students, parents, everybody that was kind of involved in the process itself. Mr. Moorcraft as well. It was just a wonderful thing. And last but not least, I'd like to offer a big thank you to Miss Emma Bates, one of our students, because she spoke on Miss Bella's behalf at the ceremony. And there was so much really kind of interesting things with the ceremony itself. But I think the best is that each one of the 12 had one of the students that they had prior come up and speak about them, and it was unbelievably moving, great stuff. And Miss Emma Bates just did a fantastic job. So my walkthroughs occur daily. Right now I have 10 observations completed with 4 left over for the remainder of the year. And with that being said, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Barry.
Can I make a comment too? Just on the teacher year, I had the opportunity to watch Miss Bell. She was my student teacher when I was teaching, taught with me. I got the mentor, and I'm by no means taking credit for her where she was. But it is a very proud moment. I mean, we have a ton of great teachers, and the support of her teachers for her, it was incredible as well. Even the showing that her team got to go to Hershey and watch the award ceremonies personally, and the kids were so excited to watch it on TV. So just want to say from the administrative side, we were really, really proud and it's an accomplishment. I don't know, has there ever been a Greene County?
She was the first person ever from Greene County
First
to be
Greene County
nominated,
finalist.
yeah.
We sent something out to her on the board to congratulate her.
Yes, we could do it. Yeah, we could do that.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Middle school principal report, Mr. Paulin.
Thank you, Mr. President. Two things that I want to talk about that we did do here. Last week, we had a representative from Ohio Pal step in with 30 of our 8th grade science students who had aspirations of taking Cons Bio next year. Mr. Willis and Mr. Allen kind of tag team this to kind of guide these students, and if they have aspirations, like I said, of taking Cons Bio next year. These students, over the next 2 months until the middle of March, will present a project to the members of Ohio Pal on thermocrons and climate surveys, and basically they're studying the climate in a given area, whether it be a freezer, a pond, a warm climate like a garage. So the thermocron is just a little device where the students were given. They'll track data for the next 2 months. They'll go to Ohio Pal, present that data to the members at Ohio Pal, get a tour of the area. I do believe that last year they went whitewater rafting, kind of saw all the sites at Ohio Pal. So we did do that last week. I do want to thank Ms. Barr and all the members of the community and our school and our staff. She does a very thankless job in kind of getting, she's not the only one that does it, but our Angel Tree project over Christmas, we were able to help 106 students pre-K through 12th grade, help them out with Christmas presents this year. So I do want to thank her. I always think that's a great thing that we're doing. Some stuff we have coming up tomorrow, weather permitting, our 8th grade students have finished the novel Call of the Wild. At no charge to the district, the Bion Theater is presenting a theatric play of that book. So all of our 8th grade students, again, weather permitting, will go on that trip tomorrow and watch that presentation of Call of the Wild. Our February 2nd is going to be our middle school spelling bee. I do believe we're going to try to stream that again. That's something that we brought back last year that was kind of fun and enjoying. We're still working out the kinks, but that will be February 2nd. I did talk to Ms. Walker. I know we had said maybe next week we're gonna try to do the middle school chorus. We've kind of postponed that a little bit. She didn't give me a hard date, but we're thinking somewhere around Valentine's Day will be the middle school chorus concert for our middle school students. Attendance is down 1% from where it was last year. We're 91%. Kids are getting sick. The weather's a little cold, so that's where we are with that. Discipline, we had 18 incidents since the last board meeting. We are at 79 over the year. That's about 8 more than this time we had last year. This time of year in the middle school, this is the grind. So we're here for the next 2 to 3 months in the classroom, hitting it hard. This is a very important part. Second 9 weeks ends next week, so we're just strapping on, getting ready to go. And with that said, Mr. President, that concludes my
Thank you, Mr. Pollard. Senior high school principal report, Mrs. Dravaki.
Thank you, Mr. Menhart. The month of December, from the 14th to the 4th to the 15th, we spent time doing winter Keystone retakes. One of my favorite events that we do, we did December 14th, which was our alumni panel presenting to our seniors. So we welcome alumni, they come in and they talk about, this is what I learned that I use outside of Carmichaels. This is what I wish I did when I transitioned from here to the workforce, to college, to wherever. It's a great presentation. And then we have an informal luncheon where they come into the media center and the students are also in lunch. So they're able to have more personal conversations, one-on-one, kids ask questions after they see the presentation. And this year's panel, I'd like to personally thank them. I think they did a very, very good job. If you missed it, it is still on our YouTube, and I would encourage you to take a look at it. We met with the esports company, myself, Mr. Moorcraft, Ms. Hathaway, and Mrs. Menhart. We're looking at some opportunities in our communications program and our broadcasting program to look at some expansions that would not only support some esports type broadcasting, but also other areas of broadcasting that we may not touch as much. So certainly we're having some conversations about courses that could support their needs, and they also have some curriculum that we would like to incorporate. On the 2nd of January, our teacher training, we did ALICE training. I'd like to thank Officer Miller, Mr. Bates, and Officer Roberts with Cumberland Township. We did some scenarios with teachers and some role playing slash, real life, what do you do if type question with some cards. And I thought they did an excellent job, and there were excellent conversation from our staff members to them. So I'd like to personally thank them for doing that training for us. Some upcoming events, you know you're getting closer whenever you're saying that senior cap and gown fittings are coming, so we're doing that next week. And also next week, we're doing our 9th grade tours at the CTC. So these are 9th grade, we've sent the entire 9th grade class already before the holidays. These are the 9th graders that now say I have interest in specific shops. They pick 3, and they're able to spend the entire day at the CTC in the shops with the teachers and kind of get a better feel of where they might be interested. And then if they want to attend, they apply for that once they have this second visit. I've listed some numbers for you there and certainly some field trip information. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mrs. Gerbeck. Technology Administrator, Mr. Townsend.
Thank you, Mr. Menhart. Big topic of discussion is the Verkada door security project. Through a PCCD grant, we had moved to install active security on every door, exterior and even some interior doors within our district. Happy to report that wrapped up today. The field house was the last installation, and it went live at 3 o'clock today. So went ahead and imported faculty and coaching into that system already, so they're live. I will start tomorrow importing the public who had access cards under Mr. Franks' previous system into that system, so that should go hopefully a lot smoother here on out. They do have to come back for an interior door in the elementary library. Mr. Franks, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think those doors on the interior may be the original doors that came with the building.
Yes, they are original.
And the hardware that they had, they need to retrofit into that system. So when they're gonna get that stuff ordered, and then they said they're gonna be back next week. So hopefully that'll put a stamp on it. There are a couple bugs and things to work through, and they have been made aware of certain doors that are still giving us a little bit of issue, and they're gonna correct those mistakes, and hopefully we'll be smooth sailing on out. Continuing with our security system, we installed an additional camera inside our auxiliary gym, and then we have some future installation locations, both interior and exterior, all to boost the security and safety of our staff and students. We installed a middle school intercom outside of the middle school main office. Mr. Poland or any parents are scheduled to visit, they don't have to check into the office. If they already know they're coming, they can buzz in through that system. It integrates into our security system, and they can go straight to Mr. Poland's office. So it's a shorter distance. They're not walking throughout the school. It was something brought to my attention by Mr. Miller and Mr. Poland, and that's how we moved to solve that. In the gym, happy to report the acoustic baffles. These are the things that are going to hang from the ceiling and kind of get rid of all the echo and the loud noise that's in there to complement our new sound system that we installed. They shipped February 2nd is the estimated ship date. Silver gray is the color that we chose. We're going to do a self-install, and we'll get started on that as soon as possible. Some new additional hardware we added. We had 100 new Chromebooks. They were delivered last week. We're going to awaiting processing and distribution. Myself, my assistant Colton Belmont will get on those and get those cycled out for our students. We ordered 10 new high-end laptops for Mrs. Moorcraft's STEAM class. It's her game design, the VR that she's working on needed some more robust hardware, so we went ahead and purchased those. And then we also installed new elementary library PCs for her accelerated reading testing in the library. Poor Mrs. Farrick, it always seemed like she got the hand-me-down computers of whoever got cycled from time to time, and she was using the old cafeteria POS machines. And point of sale is what POS stands for, not what they actually were. But now she has brand new computers, and she's happy, and the students are happy. Some future endeavors. We're meeting with Amcom. They're the company, we purchased several things from them, but they are our current leasing company for our multifunction printers. We have roughly about 15 months left on that contract, and usually when you get down to that last year, that's when you can start either renegotiating or start looking for bids elsewhere. A lot of companies will try to buy us out of that lease and get us into some new equipment. They are at the end of their life, and I hope we don't have to go another 15 months with them, because they've exceeded their use as far as the teachers have expressed their opinions to me of them, and they're due for a replacement. We're also meeting with a company called GDT IT Solutions to discuss some of our future Chromebook plans. When COVID kicked off in 2020 and we became a one-to-one school district, every student had a device. We ordered roughly 1,100 devices. Well, those devices are nearing 4 years of age, and hard use is putting it mildly. They're due for a replacement. It's an expensive endeavor. We've slowly been adding 200 last year, 100 this year. it's gonna get to the point where we need to purchase the remaining factor. Looking at, talking to other techs in my position in other districts, a lot of them use a leasing model, and that's what I'm investigating to see if we're better off leasing them, getting rid of them every 3 years and getting brand new, or purchasing them and trying to stretch that out over a 4 or 5 year cycle. And whatever saves the district the most money is what I'm gonna push for and research the most. And then finally, Jefferson Morgan, their school district is coming to visit. They're interested in our Bracata security system. So both the cameras and the doors, they want to check it out and see if it's a solution that's viable for their school district. So hopefully we're doing something right if we're attracting others that want to maybe follow in our footsteps. If there's no questions, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Townsend. And maintenance supervisor report, Mr. Franks.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to roll off on the security. Mr. Miller provided me with the door stop brand panic hardware locks to be dropped in case of a lockdown. And we've begun the installation. We did our first prototype in the middle school, and we're just going to run down the halls till we get them all done. It'll take a little bit of while. It's the first one took about 20 minutes per door, so it's doable to have done in a month or so, all the way around. I'm just going to go briefly, since last meeting in December 8th, we replaced 2 broken windows on the northeast side of the middle school. They were second and third floor. They were high windows. While the lift was here, we replaced the last LED fixtures in the parking lot, and now our parking lot lights are all LED. We had a drain backup during that period of time that damaged some carpet in what was then the security office. That was cleaned up, the drain was serviced, and since that room has new carpet, new baseboard, newly painted, and is now conference room 2. Mr. Miller has gotten pushed into the old supply room, which suits him, I believe. The actual problem with the drain lines, there is a plan in place, and unfortunately, because of the shutdown, it's going to be a summer project to get that corrected for the long term. In the gym, the volleyball sockets were removed, reworked, and reinstalled with new hardware in the floor. We have carbon fiber volleyball poles that required that to be redone. While we were in the gym, we also replaced the missing foul lines at the 4 side court hoops. In response on 12/19, in response to a 12/19 finding for our elevator, we replaced a bell battery and a sign that says, in case of fire, do not use elevator. It seems reasonable to think no one would do that, but it cleared their violation on the inspection. We just recently rebuilt in-house the salvage ore disposal in the cafeteria. It's roughly a $2,000 piece. We rebuilt it with a $400 cost in parts. It's back in service. The entrance floor had a trip hazard right by the C where you came in. We did a temporary repair with thin set, removed the trip hazard, leveled everything out. And at some point we'll discuss possibly doing having a company come in and redo the terrazzo for aesthetic purposes. We've been working over the break to clean up the storage areas. We had an overabundance of old desks and old filing cabinets that were not usable due to rust and damage. They've been cleared out of the storage areas, sold for scrap. The money went back to the business office. The last of the PEMCO furniture arrived over the break, or actually right after the break, that filled out some missing items at the high school and the middle school. While over break, we had the annual custodial training, which does a few things. It standardizes all our techniques, makes sure that our cleaning staff, very important job, It may seem mundane, but you have to wipe a table the correct way, you have to change the sanitizing solution correctly. And we have training every year to standardize that. Everybody participated, it went really well. I was pleased with how well it did. The training was provided by one of our vendors, Steritor Supply Company. Mr. Sander has been working hard over the break to do filters and service the univents, and I guarantee you no one cleans a univent better, and they look like brand new even though they're 9 years old now. So a little kudos out to Carl. I thank you very much. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Franks. And it's a nice job, and you took care of that trip out there. That was.
Thank you.
Okay, on to committee reports. Human Resources, Mr. Sokol.
Thank you, Mr. Manhart. Motion to deny one student readmission as presented.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion passed.
A motion to approve the substitute list addendum as presented.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, Mr. Pratt. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Motion to approve the Greene County Fusion Academy Educational Service Agreement as presented.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. May. Do we have any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion to approve the Child Nutrition Program Agreement as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Second, I'm sorry.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Motion to accept the resignation dated January 10, 2024 of Retta Byam as the 4th grade ELA teacher as presented.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any questions?
I have a question. When is she leaving?
She was on leave to begin with, so we already have a teacher that's filling in at this point.
So she's.
And the plan is to keep that substitute teacher in for the rest of this year, just for continuity for the students.
Okay, so there's no interruption of service?
No, none at all.
Great.
Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Okay, Budget and Finance, Mr. May.
Solicitor rate change. Motion to approve the rate change with Samuel J. Davis of Davis & Davis Law with a retainer of $500 per month and an hourly rate of $100 per hour.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Activities and Athletics, Mr. Pratt.
Field trips, motion to approve the request for field trips items A through G below as presented.
Do we have a second? Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Number 2, resignation Caleb Gallagher, middle school head football coach. Middle school head football coach. Motion to accept the resignation dated December 3rd, 2023 from Caleb Gallagher as middle school head football coach as presented.
Okay, we have a second?
Second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Transportation, Building and Grounds, Mr. Buckton.
Thank you, Mr. Manhart. Facilities, motion to approve the request for facility items A through D as presented. Domestic Violence Services, Southwestern Pennsylvania High School Art Room, 2/18 to 4/28/24, 12:30 p.m. to 5 p.m. Varsity Boys Basketball Elementary Gym Hallway, February 18th, 2024, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Center for the Performing Arts, Auditorium, 5/3 to 5/5/24, 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. And National Honor Society Field House Track, April 20th, 24, 7 a.m. to 11 a.m.
Second.
Okay, we have a second. Any questions?
I have a question on that first one, the domestic violence services. Is that on weekends or is that
That's
during school?
Sundays. Sundays.
It's all Sundays,
Mhm.
everybody, okay.
Yes.
Just wanted to make sure.
Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Technology, curriculum, and instruction. Mr. Kroll.
So there's no motion under this category, but as far as my understanding, the curriculum subcategory is new for this board. So I just wanted to kind of let everyone know that we did have a few meetings and got started on the process of meeting with Mr. Moorcraft and the administration. And our initial meetings were basically just them educating our subcommittee on what our current curriculum looks like and brainstorming a little bit of ideas on how we can make that better. So I think we're all kind of excited about it, that we can be a part of, you know, making a positive change. So I'm sure there'll be more ahead to report on that. So.
Thank you, Mrs. Kroll. Okay, Business Manager, Board Secretary report.
Thank you, Mr. Menhart. Request for motion to approve the bills for payment for November and December 2023 in the amount of $2,949,764.09 as presented.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Do we have any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Abstain.
Mr. Buckton abstaining. Okay, roll call.
Mr. Buckton,
Abstain.
Dr. Kraus,
Yes.
Mrs. Kroll,
Yes.
Mr. May,
Yes.
Mr. Menhart,
Yes.
Mr. Pratt,
Yes.
Mrs. Shute,
Yes.
Mr. Sibble.
Yes.
7 yeses, 1 abstention. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Request for motion to approve the secretary, treasurer, and other financial reports as presented.
Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Request for motion to accept the resignation of board member Mr. Edward Commons effective December 31st, 2023.
Motion?
I'll make that motion with regret.
Second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Board vacancy.
Request for nominations to fill vacant board position.
We need a motion?
Need a nomination.
I need a nomination.
Oh, okay, we need a nomination.
Nominate Dan Smith.
Okay, we have a nomination of Dan Smith. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, any questions? We need a roll call for this.
Yes.
Okay, roll call.
Who seconded that? I'm sorry.
Who is the second? What, Mr. Buck?
Okay. Mr. Buckton,
Yes.
Dr. Kraus,
Yes.
Mrs. Kroll,
Yes.
Mr. May,
Yes.
Mr. Menhart,
Yes.
Mr. Pratt,
Yes.
Mrs. Shute,
Yes.
Mr. Sibble.
Yes.
8 yeses, motion carries.
Thank you. Okay, other reports, federal programs, Mr. Berry?
Yes, Mr. Moorcraft, I'm sorry, Mr. Menhart, just a quick update. We are right now in, the cycle to be, monitored. So that started, we got the initial documentation around, last week in January. So, that has to be finished up and done by March 31st. Just want to give you guys a little bit of a progress on it. We're a little bit, about halfway, a little bit less done with it already. So just want to give you an update on that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Legislative report, Mrs. Shue?
Nothing to report.
Thank you. Anyone have anything under public relations? Okay. Green County Career and Technology Center, Mr. May?
Yeah, I'll give a report on comp plan.
I'm sorry, okay.
Just with the comp plan, Our plan was return, we had to fix a couple sections of it, one was the gifted section, so we have to have it turned back in by February 2nd. So just waiting on one section to get that back in, but everything else has been approved, just a couple sections to fix up, so.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, GCCTC representative, Mr. May.
Yeah, at the beginning of the meeting, some people saw some not. I don't know if it got passed around or not, but we always get some information at the meetings, and I wanted to share it with you. And what it was the different programs we have. They were highlighted on there, some nice pictures there. And I also passed around, I think, the crisis plan and the audit report. And if anybody's interested in that stuff, sometimes you are, sometimes you're not, but I wanted to share it with you if you were interested. I also wanted to report on, now we've talked about the food truck several times. That is fully funded right now. We've gotten donations to fund it. It's over $100,000, I believe. The food truck's being built in Ohio, I believe it is. And it's gonna be really, really nice. It's a nice toy. And, but I cautioned the director and some of the board members, I don't wanna overuse it. It can be a thing that is so nice that absolutely everybody is gonna want it and have our kids out at almost every event. And I didn't wanna overuse it. I wanted to make sure it was educational. We used it as much as, you know, as it was. But I didn't wanna have the whole culinary program revolve around this food truck, because we do have a lot of guests and it's pretty cool.
Can you elaborate a little bit on, we have no idea what you're.
Oh, we started out at the CTC, Mr. Wagner.
Okay.
If you know Mr.
Yes.
Wagner, he's the head of culinary department, does a really good job. Well, he got the idea of having a food truck, so we started checking into buying a used one and maybe fixing it up with a Votech and so forth. And the project kind of grew and grew and grew, and the next thing I know, he was getting donations from people to build a new one, brand new from scratch. So I know that Mr. Wagner has taken a couple of generators up there recently out to Ohio, and I know him well enough to know that this is going to be really, really nice. So it's just a truck that they're going to take to different events in the county and serve food, and I'm guessing it'll be good food. So it's kind of a neat thing. I don't think too many culinary classes have.
I may or may not have put us on the list.
They just have done that.
They do a
And then
fantastic
there will
job.
be income that goes right back into the CTC.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, it's nonprofit, so everything, like whatever costs are to run, they'll obviously use, but everything else, they can't make profit on it, so they'll donate or.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, it is. And again, we don't wanna overuse it, you know, sometimes we carry away that. Okay, the second thing was that, we hired a new, roving technical IT person, and the directors, the county superintendents came up with that idea a couple of years ago. And what it is, it's one person we hire at the Votech, but he goes around to all the school districts and helps with any IT problems Travis may have and so forth. And that position was open, and we hired a gentleman by the name of Jonathan Phillips. He seems to be very well qualified. I think he's gonna be a really good addition.
Is that free for us here when they come, or do we?
Absolutely, no, it's free. Everything's free, yes.
Okay.
Well, I mean, it comes out of our funding that goes to the CTC.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
No addition.
Yeah,
So there
yeah,
is
we don't
a
have any extra.
There is a cost.
Yeah, it's sort of like
There's
the
a cost to everything.
sort of like the
That's what I'm trying to
cyber
get at.
school is when they advertise them being free, but we have to pay for it.
Cost plus.
Yeah, but there's no plus on it. So I think that's a really good thing, and looking forward to that. And other than that, that was all I had.
Thank you, Mr.
I
May.
just add on to the CDL program, the CTC is starting that again as well. It's gonna start later this month. It's an incredible program for our kids. It's just where every school in the county is represented by it. But that will start, these kids literally cross our graduation stage with a CDL license.
What class, do we know?
It's
that?
at the CTC.
No, but class A, class B, CDL, like, do we know what the? do they
I
have
know they're
endorsements?
driving.
Do they have?
Yeah, I can find that out.
Okay.
But I know they're driving the big
They drive the big rigs.
The big trucks, yeah.
It's not heavy equipment.
Yeah, that's a much more
It's gotta be
stringent
class A for
requirement to
driving
get
rig
that.
with trailer.
Yeah,
So
they're
class
driving
A,
the 18.
yeah.
I know they train on the 18-wheelers and so, but it's incredible for any of our kids in the county to be able to do that. Also exploring a little more now within the property about heavy equipment and bringing that in as well. So another thing that will fit perfectly with Greene County. So a lot of exciting things are happening there. I'm nearing the end of my tenure. I'm the superintendent of record for the CTC now, and end of June will end my tenure. And Jefferson Morgan will have an opportunity to.
That's another thing I wanted to comment on, is that we do have a lot of new board members, and I forget that. There's a roving, thing with the superintendents, they get a 2-year tenure, and then it moves on to another district, and they get a 2-year tenure. And, I've been lucky enough to, up there, Mr. Menhart had, it was actually more than 2 years, was it 2?
No, it was good.
It was 2 years, okay.
Seemed like long.
It seemed, yeah, you made the meeting so long. But no, it was great to have both of these guys up there for me, because when we're dealing with somebody from another district, they do a great job also, but it's always nice to have the town guys there. So, that's been, very good. So, that's all I want to say.
Once again, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Safety and security, Mr. Pratt. Nothing to report?
Nothing to report.
Before we adjourn, I'd like to ask Mr. Smith to come forward to be sworn in.
You come up here, Mr. Smith. First off, congratulations. Here's a copy here if you have to sign that at the end, just so you can look at it, see so you can sign.
All right, Mr. Smith, please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, please state your name.
Dan Smith.
Having been elected to the office of school director for the district of Carmichaels area.
You have to repeat it.
Oh, having been elected to the office of the school director for the Carmichaels area.
County of Greene and state of Pennsylvania.
County of Greene, state of Pennsylvania.
Do solemnly swear that I will support, obey, and defend the Constitution of the United States.
Do solemnly swear to obey, defend, support, and support the Constitution of the United States.
And the Constitution of this Commonwealth.
And the Constitution of this Commonwealth.
And that I will discharge the duties of my office with fidelity.
And I will discharge the duties with this office of my fidelity.
That I have not paid or contributed.
That I have not paid or contributed.
Or promised to pay or contribute.
Or promised to pay or contribute.
Either directly or indirectly.
Either directly or indirectly.
Any money or other valuable thing.
Any money or any other valuable thing.
To procure my nomination or election or appointment.
To procure my nomination, election, or appointment.
Except for necessary and proper expenses.
Except for necessary and proper expenses.
Expressly authorized by law.
Expressly authorized by law.
That I have not knowingly violated any election law of this Commonwealth.
That I have not knowingly violated any election law of this Commonwealth.
Or procured it to be done by others on my behalf.
Or procured it to be done by others on my behalf.
That I will not knowingly receive either directly or indirectly.
That I will not knowingly receive either directly or indirectly.
Any money or other valuable thing.
Any money or other valuable thing.
For the performance or non-performance.
For the performance or non-performance.
Of any act or duty pertaining to my office.
Of any act or duty pertaining to my office.
Other than compensation allowed by law.
Other than compensation allowed by law.
Congratulations.
Okay.
That's all.
Okay, motion to adjourn? Motion. Second? Any questions on that one? Nope. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion, meeting adjourned.